Today we're going to look at the basics of compound interest. The interest we're going to be looking at is if you put money in a bank and you use that for savings, you would receive some interest from the bank. But if you borrowed some money to use for something, you would have to pay back what you borrowed, plus you would have to pay back some interest. Now, we've discussed this in class. In a simple interest process, you just pay the same amount each year. But we are dealing here with compound interest, where each year the interest is added onto the previous amount. So we're going to look at example 1. Okay, so David puts £6,000 in the bank, and the account that he puts it into offers 4% APR, and that's the annual percentage rate. And we want to calculate how much you'll have after 3 years. So we're going to do this step by step to start with, and then we're going to see if we can find a more efficient method. In the first year, he's going to get 4%, so 4% of £6,000. Well, 1% would divide by 100 would be 60. 4%, we'll times that by 4, and we'll get £240. So at the end of the first year, he will have the original amount, the principal amount, plus the interest that he earned, which means he would have a balance of £6,240. And that's after year 1. So in year 2, so at the beginning of year 2, we've now got £6,240. So if we take this £6,240, and we need to find 4% of that. And so in year 2, rather than earning £240 of interest, we're going to earn £249.60. And so we'll add that on to the total from the beginning, which was the 6,240. And we get a total at the end of year 2 of £6,489.60. And for year 3, we're going to start with that amount. So in year 3, we need to find 4% of £6,489.60, which is £259.58. Now, when I'm calculating these, I'm doing 1% by dividing by 100 and multiplying the answer by 4. You can use your calculator in the examples we're going to be doing today, so you can just multiply by 0.04. So we add that onto the total. We're going to round up at the end, we're not going to round up just yet. And we end up with 6,749.184. And so that's the total that we have at the end of the 3 years. And if we want to put that into money, and that's the balance. So let's see if we can't find another way to do this. So the balance that we were left with there was £6,749.18. The principal amount, so that means the amount that we originally put in, was £6,000. And so the interest that we earned was the extra that we had at the end. So we're just going to do a subtraction. So that was obviously £749.18. So for having the £6,000 in the bank for 3 years, we've earned £749.18. Now for each year, what we did is we worked out 4% and we added it on. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to find a way of doing those two steps in one go. So the 100% is what we originally start with. We're adding on 4%. So what we want to calculate is 104%. And we'll just take that number as a decimal, 1.04. And if we multiply our principal amount by this number, you will get £6,240, which was the balance at the end of the first year. So what that calculation has done is it's worked out the 4% and added it on at the same time. Now we want to do that 3 times, so we're going to effectively be multiplying by 1.04 3 times. And a quick way to do that is to just say times the power of 3. And if you put that into your calculator, you should end up with our final amount. You'll have the 4 there. We're rounding it down. So the key things that you need to remember here, this 6,000 is the principal. So that's what you started with. This is what we call the multiplier, and we have done this in class before. And the power here is the number of years in this instance. Sometimes you might be working with months, but here we're working with years. Okay. So the first method allows you to see exactly what's happening and to work things out as you go. The second method is much quicker, but you've got to understand what you're doing before you use it. And just to make sure, at the end, the balance that we've got is 6,749. The principal amount was 6,000, so the interest is one subtract the other, £749.18. Okay, you're now able to do the exercise for this week.